All right, we are live on episode 14 of The Correction. Welcome. I'm your host, Random Task, and today we will be discussing a few things, mostly previewing Q3 2019. I have a few ideas. Oh, and there goes YouTube. Nice. All right. So first things first, it's good to be back. It's been a little while. Had a bit of a transition period there as Cheese and I are sorting out our different streams. It makes more sense for him to do some live scalp sessions with all y'all because that's his bread and butter, and we've been getting really good feedback on it. Personally, I like to sign in on here and talk ideas, FA, the market, and TA as I learn it and sort of bring it to you. Hello there from the Netherlands. Good to have you on here today. So I'm actually in the process of developing sort of a new theme, a new stream theme, and we're going to rebrand it and do all that. So that's pretty exciting. So I'm pretty pumped about that. But for today, while that's being ironed out, I just wanted to get live with everybody and talk a little bit about Bitcoin and the market. First things first, I should just get this boring stuff out of the way. The information provided by Bitcoin Bravado and accompanying material is for informational purposes only and should only not be used as a basis for any investment or other purposes. It should not be considered legal or financial advice. The information governed by our terms of use. The information is governed by our terms of use. You should consult with an attorney or other professional to determine what may be the best for your individual needs. We are not here registered investment advisor, and we are not recommending that you buy anything. I am certainly not going to tell you to buy something today. But I might talk to you a little bit about what I'm buying, although I'll be honest with you, I'm not really buying anything these days. But anyways, with all that said, I can give out all kinds of advice like, it's good to wake up in the morning and drink some water, right? But I'm not a financial advisor. So you want to take some life advice from me? I'm 32 years old. Maybe you can get some from me, but don't take any financial advice from me. I'm not that guy. All right, without further ado, let's get a screen share going. And I would like to share. Whoa, who can share? No, that's not what you do. Share. There we go. And I'm always got to be so careful about this because this silly Mac screen is such high definition that it freezes if I share the wrong thing. So make sure I'm on the right one. It's CoinMarketCap. There you go. And I can only share the browser, not the screen. So if you've ever been on, where am I sharing? If you've ever been on the show before, you may realize or you may remember that I have a sort of a 4-screen setup. So I'm actually going to be looking over here while I share. That is the correct one. Excellent. So we're live over here on CoinMarketCap. Let's get a refresh. That may not be refreshed. There we go. So I don't really look at this that much, to be honest. It's got a whole bunch of noise. I really prefer to see prices on charts. That's how you get to have sort of a relative view of things. I actually recently just opened up a Bybit account to sort of dabble back in the margin trading. If you followed me at all for the last year, I don't really do margin trading as, it's not my bread and butter. I'm trying to learn it because in times when there's alt stagnation, it's the kind of thing you can just do anytime, right? It's long, short, 50-50 sort of. Being, you can bet the thing into the ground or take it long. So just a quick preview of Bybit. I don't actually mind it. It's got decent liquidity. You can see hundreds of thousands of dollar contracts here. So if you're not flipping like $1 million orders at 100x cross, you're probably okay. The margin I put in here is what I posted in the thing, sort of like setting up sort of a test account, not test account. I mean, it's a decent size, but really just taking it slow. And Cheese and I have each been doing sort of a transparency thing where we really just want like a single account with a set amount of Bitcoin in it and sort of trade it live. So I actually put in 0.34, had a good day to start up to 0.36. I think a bad day following up 0.32. And then yesterday I did fairly well as far as like a day session goes. Back up. So, just kind of resting around here, mostly just taking my time learning the system. And I'm really glad I did that because there's something I want to point out here that shocked me yesterday. It actually kind of pissed me off. Made a winning day feel like a losing day. And it's, it's not a big deal. But when you're in a position here, it will show you, and I love this, it'll show you unrealized P&L. In other words, how much money your position is up or down. And it'll even translate it below to your currency of choice. So I'm seeing like, CAD, like, oh, you're up 400 or 500 bucks. And it's like, oh, sick. And then you go to close it. Then it tells you your realized P&L. And that's great. And so you're like, okay, I'm up like 0.02 Bitcoin. And then I go plug it into my Delta and just kind of tracking on the side. And at the end of the day, the Delta said like 0.36. And then this said 0.346. And I'm like, so what's that discrepancy? And it's because they don't incorporate the fees on Bybit into your realized P&L. And on the flip side, on BitMEX, which I'm used to, they will actually tell you. So sometimes it'll look like you're up, right? You're up a little bit on the position. And then you go to close it out and it'll show a negative P&L. You're like, well, what the hell? And that's because they take the fees out of it. And then they show you after fees that you're, oh, it was pretty close. You're actually down a little, which in retrospect, I appreciate that, because yesterday I was tracking all these realized P&Ls, assuming that fees were taken out of that. And at the end of the day, my $600 day turned into like, I don't know, $200, $250 day. Now, part of that is my own fault. I did jump in and out of a position very quickly, like 3 times, thinking like, ooh, I actually see something else. That's like newbie stuff that, again, playing around here, not sort of putting on my best foot forward. So on that note, I thought real quick, somebody asked yesterday about fees. So I just wanted to take a real quick look. Just like BitMEX, Bybit offers a maker rebate. Which means if you post your order in the books, you're providing liquidity for the market. They want to reward you for that. So they give you actually a rebate, no fee. If you take, in other words, if I buy or sell into the book, especially if you're using something like a market order, you're actually paying, 0.075% of a fee on that entry, on that exit, on both ends. Okay, especially like if you just like to market in and out, which in high volatility can be a good thing, but in general is unnecessary. As Joker, one of our mods in the Discord, pointed out yesterday, he said, really, you should be operating on limits as much as you can, because you get a rebate, right? Makers get a rebate. So if you just post your order in the book to take profit, you don't even pay a fee. You get money back. But getting in and out on higher leverage scalps with a market order is usually sort of what, I don't know. I probably won't do it anymore, but that's what I was doing yesterday. And it'll chew you up pretty fast, because think about it. If you have a $10,000 contract, so maybe you're playing around like, 0.34 Bitcoin's a decent amount, but it's not crazy big. But if I'm on 25x leverage, suddenly 0.03 Bitcoin, let's see, 25,000 contracts is like 0.08 Bitcoin. So, that's $25,000. And that fee suddenly is about 50 bucks. No, like $18, like 20 bucks. So coming in and out, you're paying $50. So if you made 200 bucks in your position, that's like 25% of your profit, right? So just something to think about. Put it in my journal. Again, I'm not a high frequency like scalpy day trader as a rule, right? Like, yet. I haven't developed that skill or interest yet. So something to think about. So that was my journal entry for yesterday, is just really keep in mind those fees, really know where you're getting in, where you're getting out, and ideally use limit orders. And if you're doing a limit order, you can click this. It's a post only. That guarantees that you will be the maker on the trade. And if for some reason your order is in the other side of the book, like it would instantly execute and you'd have to pay the maker fee, to avoid ever having to pay that maker fee, you put post only. So 2 things will happen. Either it'll open your order or close your order, or it'll just cancel the order. It won't do it at all because it's already in the book. In other words, it'll prevent you from ever being on the taker side. Now, in some cases, you won't get your order and you'll have to repost it, but it's a guaranteed post only. So that's something to keep in mind if you never want to pay a fee again and you're trading on Bybit, BitMEX, BXC, whatever. They all have rebates for the makers. So that's kind of cool. All right. So moving into Bitcoin, I've got a few views up here yesterday. I was actually having a lot of fun. The one thing I liked about doing the day trade stuff with Bitcoin is I got a bunch of different charts up. So here's sort of like the higher time frame. Set your bias. We've got the faster moving average here is yellow, above the slower moving average. So we're generally bullish right now. We're in a bull trend. We're heading up, even if even here, like, yeah, okay, we're retracing, we're checking it, but we're actually in a bull trend. And as you can see, that was actually a healthy correction. There was nothing really bearish about that on this time frame. Just dipped right back into that 618 level on the fib. Fairly to be expected. So if you're a bull and you're doing this and everyone's like, when do I buy? When do I buy? When do I buy? Well, you know what I'm always saying in the Discord, draw your fib, extend your fib, extend your fib, extend your fib. And when it finally tops, hunt your entries at the 618. And there it was. Did I long that? Nah, I was on vacation, but that's the idea, right? So then again, last night, here we are. And we've got maybe some people who sold here and they were looking to get lower. And it's like, okay. And then they see this for a couple days and they're like, what the heck? Do I buy here? But you can see this is, the opposite. This is the short reload zone. Does it guarantee that price stops here and goes down? No, but all of this death, if you were looking for a short, there's a terrible place to short. This is, location, location, location. Start your trade with good location. This is where you look to get short, if at all. Not saying go short, but this is where I'm like, oh, this is where it's time to think about shorts. And if you're a scalp trader, I know some people got a little short today in the Discord, and you got a nice dump here, right? Comes right up into the short RLZ, hovers, bounce, fail off the EMA, fail. And actually here, I actually expected it to go a little further down. Based on sort of this broken trend line here. But it recovered nicely. And, again, not surprised because we are in this very strong bullish trend. So again, trading against a higher time frame trend is risky. Not recommended. It's just harder, right? When you see big breakouts, oh, who's this? What happened? Yeah, I don't know, man. The hoodie, I actually thought about putting it on 5 minutes ago, but it's warm. It's hot. Look at this little tiny desk fan up there. I don't know. Screw the hoodie. So yeah, trading against the high time frame bias is riskier because think about it. What's the gold? What's the golden ticket, right? I mean, you're in a trade. You're thinking, okay, here's my target up here, and then like boom, there's a massive candle that just blasts, and like yeah, maybe you hit your TP, but you left a little open. Like that's what we're all. That's the golden ticket in a trade, right? Is if the market even exceeds your expectations. And when you're in a high time frame bullish trend, there's a much lower chance you're going to see some massive like nuke bear candle carry your short trade, right? It's a higher probability, which is what we work with, right? Possibilities, probabilities. And there's a higher probability that if you're in a high time frame bull trend and you're in a long position, there's a higher probability that you'll get like a nice like Soros like nuke candle north, right? I mean, again, that's an outside chance that ever happens, but right now, what's more likely, right? I mean, again, you're not sitting there like I'm gonna hope to catch one of those, but if you do catch one, they're nice, and they typically go with the high time frame trend. So my 2 cents, and yeah, so there's a harmonic objective. Actually looking to complete up around 13.15, right? So you've got your AB, and you can drag that over, go from the below, from the down of the last one. Excuse me, that was so confusing the way I said that. So you've got your rally up, retrace. Then you measure that move, AB equals CD. So there's your harmonic objective. So another area where I might think about taking a profit. Again, I'm not live trading this. I'm not trading it. I'm long on Bitcoin just because I have some. I said something the other day. He's like, well, when are you going to sell? When are you going to short it? And I'm like, well, I don't know. There's facts, right? 34 million millionaires in the world, according to Deutsche Bank report or something that just came out, and there's 21 million Bitcoin. And I think that we're heading into a time based on sort of, well, there's a really good point brought up in this book called Crypto Assets. And maybe I'll post a link in the description below for after. But basically it just talks about like a Sharpe ratio and back testing and how even through all the volatility of the last 8 years, if you had 5% allocation in sort of like your hedge fund, because it's an uncorrelated asset, your overall performance would actually have improved, or your overall, volatility in your portfolio would have actually been reduced. So yeah, I think it's an attractive option for hedge fund managers. Fidelity's offering custody solutions. There's just a lot. I mean, I think for the most part, the FA is well known at this point. So high time frame, I'm very, very bullish. And I don't think there's any guarantee that like we'll top out here and just pull back for the summer. It's possible, and I think a lot of altcoin traders would love that. And personally, myself, I wouldn't mind it, but I'm not trying to call tops on Bitcoin. I'm just enjoying the ride, which is sort of the premise. Where's that little sheet? Oh yeah, it's a bit of the premise I wanted to share today. Try to enjoy the ride. Okay, it's very hard when you're looking on, in the Discord, if there's traders that are, some of us are saying, oh, we made some money today, or you're on crypto Twitter, which is like the worst place to be, especially as you're newer to the market, because everywhere you look, somebody's making money and they're talking about it, bragging about it. And you get this immense sense of FOMO, like, whoa, where's my long? Where's my short? And it's a quick way to lose money. It's a quick way to ruin your day, not enjoy yourself, right? So really try to enjoy the ride. So I'll share an example. And then I want to get into the altcoin market because I have some thoughts and some ideas. Share an example. There was a trader, one of our members last night, might even be watching today. Give us a shout out if you are. And he was away all day yesterday. And it was a great day to trade. As it turns out, right? Actually, overnight, we actually got long the night before at around 9,400, right? Or excuse me, 94, 11.4, right? We actually got long right around here. Woke up in profit, took a little profit here, actually reopened a little bit. Joker, you're here, right? You might remember. We were talking about how like we were going to wait, right? We were going to wait for this retrace. And then we're like, nah, it seems way too easy. The whole world after that breakout is getting long, waiting on a retrace. It's not going to happen. So we actually opened some longs here, right? I mean, it ended up being a great day for trading. Yeah. CT equals death. I agree. So public bias moves more to Bitcoin. Yeah, absolutely. So we were talking yesterday, Joker, about this retrace probably wasn't going to happen, right? If you guys know me and my fibs, I love them. Probably have drawn one up right here, and I'd be sitting there all day. Waiting to get long on this thing. Okay. Sometimes this magnet tool is my best friend. Sometimes it just drives me nuts. So yeah, I mean, you got sort of a 382 check, but even that didn't fully check. And I remember thinking when that happened, I was, posted up here watching this thinking, man, that like front ran that 382. That's very bullish. Sure enough, 2 hours later, level up. Anyways, I ramble on a bit here. You got to catch me here. Point is, one of our members came back later that night, like up here, and he's like, oh man, like y'all making money on the longs, where do I get in? And I just gotta say, man, like you missed the trade, and that's okay. It's okay. There's a trade every day, sometimes not the best setup, and then you just leave it. But I mean, there's something, there's always another trade. This was a great day for a long. Today, so far, not a great day for a long, right? And typically that's not the way it works, right? You don't get like, oh, look at all these longs, and then you go here and you win again. Like usually there's some consolidation, and the market is very good at chopping up late traders, right? You get a strong move, and then everyone's like, oh, sweet, I'm definitely getting in here because look at all this strong movement, and then it's chop, 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 stop you out. Oh, we're dumping, short it, chop, 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 stop you out, right? And then as soon as you're ready to give up because you're so sick of this consolidation, up, down, up, down, up, down, you just kind of say, okay, I'm taking a day off. And then it's like, zoop, now we're back in the trend. It's uncanny. It's amazing. It's something I'm noticing a lot. So when I get bored of the market or sick of the market, I'm trying to recognize that. And sort of that's part of that daily journal thing where you're just writing down your thoughts, your feelings, your observations, because you can notice patterns that way. And when I'm like, man, this market's boring, this is crap. It's intuitive to take a day off and go enjoy the beach, but that's probably the day you want to just keep watching. And even if it takes 6 days, there was time in the fall during that pre-6K drop, right, where it was just like flat line. And there was a huge move coming up. And typically, actually, I've heard this said many times before, the longer sort of the consolidation, the bigger the move. So yeah, not a place, again, like looking here, it's like, well, do I go long? Well, not in the shorter RLZ. That's not where I would look. We dumped here today, protected here. We're going up here. Look, man, if we get some nice like bearish market structure and then we get sort of a nice neckline form here and that breaks down, that's a great short. We might even form some bullish market structure and like forget this whole short RLZ and then we're going to take off. But I'm guessing we're going to consolidate here. That's what I was saying last night. Don't feel like you can't go to sleep here because it's not going to just in my opinion, low probability that it was just going to keep ripping, right? There was no new FA. There was no reason that it would do that. It's more likely after a nice big move like that, 3 levels, right? 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, right? So just chill. That's how I'm feeling today. I spent a long time on the screens yesterday, almost 10 hours. And all things considered, I would much rather trade swings in the market and like go do other stuff during my day. But that's part of the journey that we're on. And you got to kind of learn what you like. Into the alts. Any questions before I move on? We're kind of doing questions at the end as far as like, I'm done what I had to say. What do you think? But if you have questions, try to stop me along the way. I'll do my best to interact. It's tricky with just one on the stream. I'm used to having cheese here. Also, if you notice, it says Bitcoin Birch under my name on the stream. That is an accident. It's supposed to say Bitcoin Bravado, but sometimes Birch uses our Zoom account to do meetings, and I had never checked to switch it back. So I am not Bitcoin Birch. I am Random Task. Just get that out of the way. I just noticed that. So, okay, so let's talk alts, okay? This is the BNB chart. Ethereum used to be the chart to watch for alts, and I guess in some ways it still could be. But I would say that actually it was BNB that kind of kicked off our little, let's see, is this, maybe ETH chart do I even use? I'll just switch over to the Binance one. I would argue that it was the Binance coin that actually really kicked off our little spring rally. All right, and we had that big move with all exchange tokens right off this spot here in November, right? And then it just started ripping. And then exchange tokens all started ripping, and then the tokens on those exchanges started ripping. So I would say we might be headed into this paradigm shift where maybe it's this coin, at least right now, that's sort of leading the way. Now I've got this chart up from about say 2-3 weeks ago. And this is the FA right now in the market. And there's a ton of uncertainty. Okay, FA, fundamental analysis. In other words, borrowed from traditional markets, but it's very different, right? There's no PE ratios. It's not all that stuff, but just generally like analysis that is not based on charts. Okay, for all of you snobs out there who think it's not FA, well, it is the best word we have for it. So there's a lot of uncertainty right now with US users. Okay, and they're all being kicked off slowly from different exchanges due to regulatory reasons, obviously. And there's a lot of tokens who may or may not have, basically allowed U.S. investors during their ICO or for whatever other reason are being considered a security, and they're being removed. So there's just this unease and a ton of uncertainty in the altcoin space. Okay, not to mention, I mean, everyone's like, well, it's just because Bitcoin's rallying. Like, okay, sure. And I would absolutely agree with you there. There's a ton of strong FA with Bitcoin coming up. And I would argue that there's a lot of, big money that's either, has been moving in or is moving in. I doubt they're FOMO buying here. But at the end of the day, if they see what this could become, like, think about it this way. And I'm off topic here. I'm rambling, but just roll with me here. The people who decide what gets to be a big thing, I've kind of decided that Bitcoin's going to get to be a big thing. That's how I feel, right? Fidelity Investments, like as to name one. There's a lot of big money institutions who have basically said, we're going to offer Bitcoin products. We're going to make Bitcoin a thing. They spotted it. They said, ooh, this is tiny. We can make this huge, and we could ride that up. That's huge profit. They're not dumb, right? Like the stock market is at the end. Well, God, who knows if it's at the end, but it's at the top of like the longest bull market in history. Are they just going to long that for another 20 years, or they're looking for the next thing, right? New generational emerging asset class. I think the people, or at least enough people, institutions, whatever, who are going to get to decide if Bitcoin gets to be a thing, I feel like they've decided that it's going to be a thing. So on that note, they might look at this and be like, oh, 12K? That's cheap. Because if this is anything, it's 100K or a million, right? I mean, there's 21 million. Do the math, right? Everyone can't own one. If everyone wanted one, they'd have to be worth like, and you just couldn't all own one. So it's kind of an insane thing, and it's a social experiment. And so, yeah, are they dumb for buying here? Well, not if they plan to buy it at 50K too. not if they plan to make sure it ends up at 250K or whatever, right? So yeah, I don't buy the narrative that like smart money is not going to buy here. I think really smart money, I think, people who really understand like the world scale of what's going on here, um, probably have more of a perspective like this. And I'm not trying to be like hyper, bull tart over here, but like this is the reality, right? I mean, and this is only 100K. There's a really nice little talk by the guy from what's his name, the Asian dude, um, great speaker, Thomas Lee, I think, something like that. He's from that Fundstrap. He did a great speech last year. It's interesting. I mean, he was wrong in his timing, um, but he just talks about the millennials and getting into their investment and savings years. I mean, if this is a thing, like, oh yeah, it was so dumb to buy down there, like, because if it's going to go here, there's certain institutions and entities that get to decide that they get to boost it, right? They post the articles and they buy the news space that says Tom Lee, there he is, Tom Lee, thank you. And yeah, I mean, who knows? Whatever you want to think about Tom Lee, he's been wrong on his timing, right? It's going to be 50K by the end of the year, whatever. But he's just looking at the sort of the underlying drivers, and yeah, I mean, if it gets adopted, there's some room. So yeah, I'm not calling for that. I'm not gonna be like, RT said buy because it's going up, but like this is all just small peanut noise while it decides if it's going to be a real asset class. And if it's going to be a real asset class, it's nothing yet. That's just a fact. 200 billion. It's like the whole crypto market is like half the size of Apple stock market cap, which is like one stock in one market. There's the Asian markets, there's the European markets, there's American markets. Like, it's nothing. That's exciting. So, am I short? Not yet. Fair to say. Okay. Ramble complete. Oh my God, sidetracked. We're back to the altcoins. Here's my thought. Everyone here has probably heard something like buy the rumor, sell the news, right? Yeah, 115K. I don't know. He's a mascot. Well, okay. Joker, that's a little harsh. I think he's a little better than a mascot. I mean, he's pretty good research, whether, I mean, we all might be thanking him later when he's right, but it might take 20 extra years. I don't know. Mascot's a harsh word, but you're right. He does dance around and talk a lot. All right, so let's talk a little bit about BNB. Users are kicked out on September 12th. Okay. Now you've probably heard something like buy the rumor, sell the news, right? Oh, mainnet, there's a lot of hype, buy. And then we see this coins, like, they shoot up. And then on the mainnet, everyone's so pumped, like, man, once mainnet comes, use cases are going to be crazy. It's going to shoot up. But in reality, what happens? You get to your mainnet, tank, right? Because all that price was built in, and it's buy the rumor, sell the news, okay? But there's another lesser known trend in markets, and that is sell the rumor, buy the news. It's the opposite, okay? So you get bearish information, and everyone's dumping into it, and it's all going to be hell, it's going to be death, and then boom, the news actually hits, and it just reverses. Shout out to at CR Investor on Twitter, the founder of the TRI trade school that I'm in, because he's the one who kind of taught me this, and I never want to miss a chance to give him a shout out. He's very smart, very friendly, great guy. And he actually shared this. I'll see if I can pull it up because it's an interesting example that he shared with me, with us, I should say, in my group. I need stamp. Where's my bit stamp? Where's my bit stamp at? I saw it there, but I need it first $1. So we go way back here. Now, this is before my time in the space, but apparently there was like a China ban, like that first China ban. I forget what it was. But basically, it was so bearish into the China ban. And then like the day that China banned Bitcoin, it just like, started to reverse. So that was sick. His example of sort of sell the rumor, buy the news. I think we're going to see something play out like that here. Everyone's like, oh, Binance is going to shut us all out and it's all bearish. And as you can see, there's a lot of profits baked in here, right? And when I say profits baked in, that means like if you bought here and you wanted to make a ton of money, you're going to hold it and you're going to hold it and you're going to hold it. And you might even hold it through here, but you're still ready to sell here because when all hope is lost, you're still up, right? It's once you get into those, you're at such a deep loss that you've committed to holding. that's when, you can expect sort of bottoms to come in. So I'm not calling for down here, but I'm saying there's a lot of profit takers still waiting around here that could be sweated out of this thing in the next month and a half. So first level to watch, and I think I originally posted this chart on Twitter when it was like up here. First level to watch, and there was a lot of, like, I would say, irresponsible accounts saying buy Binance coin, like it dumped. It's like, well, technically it's a terrible place to buy, I thought, because it just got rejected off here. I mean, look at this. Rejected, fake out, rejected, dump, rejected again. Come on. And you're going to tell your followers to buy it on this one? The seventh time's a charm. I mean, I get the whole thing about like resistance gets weaker every time, but no. Sorry, not happening. Too much uncertainty. We're going down. We're going to retrace. It was overdue. Here we are now. I think, I was thinking at here it might just go crazy and just keep bullish continuation, but I don't think so anymore. I think we're going to see at least here. And I would not be shocked to get right down into this POC, point of control. Because again, this fib isn't, infinite, right? You could really drag this out to like the full Binance lifespan, and suddenly this is your 618. So there's a little confluence there, right? Might get into that sweet spot. There's that POC I was talking about. So Binance never really had a full healthy retrace, right? During that whole bear market. I mean, look at front run its own 618 here. So yeah, I'm not bearish on Binance as a company. I think they're going to do fine. That's actually my whole point, is that I think once this news actually happens, I think they're going to have Binance US. They might even have mixed books. So, the liquidity is like shared. So it's not even like a crappy new little exchange. It's going to actually have the same liquidity. And I'm sure it's going to be fine. But am I buying it before that day? Nah. I think there's a lot of uncertainty, and that'll get used up for dumpage, and then we might see some consolidation. So the real question is, when alt season, what look for? And that's what I want to talk about here, because there is a very specific pattern that I'm looking for, and I'm not seeing it anywhere yet. And that's okay, right? There's no rush to get altcoins unless you're in them, right? There's a pressure if you're sitting in a bag and it's heavy. And full disclosure, I have a bag of Aon, and it is heavy. It's like a leftover bag, but it was still, I won't say substantial, but it was worth a lot more a year ago. I don't love it. Can't have that, Rocket Chat. Get out of here. So I mean, I have a bag of Aon, and I'd love that if it would stop going down, but I don't think it will yet. Here's what I'm looking for. Okay, go to a high time frame. Okay, ideally weekly, and there's a formation that's very easy to spot. And again, shouting out to Brian Beamish, my mentor, my teacher, and he talked about this. Finding a W formation. Okay, so a W formation, and again, it's like a double bottom, but you just call it a W because everyone knows the alphabet, right? If you're English speaking and you know that alphabet. So here's your W, but the key is to confirm that sort of bottom formation, you have to break the neckline. And look what didn't happen here, right? I mean, it went up and it went up and it went up, but it didn't close. So it got rejected, and look, boom. Now, are we even close to one of those yet? No. So just chill. Now, if you're really overzealous and you want to be ahead of the pack and risk catching that dagger, you could check for one on the daily. We actually tried to put one in. I was actually watching this closely last week, right? Where you're like, okay, yeah, I mean, we got that possible one. Ba-bing, ba-bing. And if we can get up here and close, even blast through, close, and then maybe come get a retest, sure, we're in. We're cooking with grease, but not seeing it, right? And I'm not seeing it anywhere. In fact, this is a short list of ones that are just like the least of death, and they're still looking like death. If it's in negative price discovery, actually, Adam can just leave this list right now because it's in negative price discovery. It's not even like bottoming, right? And let me tell you real quick, I actually wanted to just touch on Adam real quick because I know it's like everyone's bullish about it in general. It's a strong looking project. This thing ICO'd for 10 cents in like April 2017. And it finally launched, and it's trading very high, right? It's like $1 billion market cap. It's trading. Oh, it was actually 530 earlier today, so it's really dumping today. But 496. Okay, that's a 50x. Now, if you're in a bear market and you're looking around and some of your bags are dead and bleeding and you're wishing you didn't own them anymore, what are you going to do with your 50x bag? You're probably going to sell it, right? You're going to scoop that profit. You're going to be like, oh, I'm getting out here while I can. And there's a lot of that. I mean, even down to 10x, I'm still taking 10x profit if alts are dead, right? So there's a ton of downside here, I think. And I don't mean to be bearish on your Cosmos bag. If you've got a bag of Atom, 50x is pretty sweet, unless you just bought it, in which case, like, technically, I don't know why anyone's buying that. Even this, again, if I was taught to look for those W's, it came down, it, found its little bottom here, tried to, didn't get to the neckline, no bueno, and sure enough, bing, boom, bop. So yeah, I mean, for scale, what am I looking at here? It's ugly, man. Well, I guess, okay, chill out, RT. That's a little, it's a little bearish because we're below zero there. But like, okay, so here's your zero line. 10 cents is probably like, I don't know, here. What's Beaksy, like 600? That's around 10 cents. So like, yeah, you're 10 cents there. It's not crazy, man. It's not crazy, right? We've seen this in coins before. And so what are you looking for, right? You're going to wait. I'm going to wait until I get that. And then I can go hang out with the Cosmos crew, because it does look like a sick project. So, but like, why? Who cares if all season's coming? Just wait. Wait for the confirmation. Don't buy heavy things, right? Everything looks so heavy right now. I don't see any need to rush. I mean, I get the need to want to make money today, which is exactly why I signed up for Bybit. Because I'm like, okay, maybe it's time, it's a good season to start doing a little margin, learning that. But that stuff's hard. Don't get it twisted. Like, alt season's fun because you can just ride a bag, and margin is an everyday sweat, especially on leverage. Do not recommend it to anyone who is even remotely new to the space. It is. I've been in here 2 years. I've been in a TA trade school for a year, and even I would argue that I'm like, maybe should just be paper trading, because until you're proven profitable, why risk your hard-earned money? Why? Give me one good reason. Right? If your goal is to be a trader for 10 years, 20 years, like lifetime, what's 6 months of proving that you can do it? Right? Because in that 6 months, you could blow your account twice. And, that sucks. And it happens all the time, right? And even to somebody like the pros, like Market Wizards. I actually liked the stories in Market Wizards because the guys are like, yeah, I blew my 3K account 3 times. And I had to be like washing dishes, and then now I'm like, I make 500 million. So like, that was motivating, right? Amen, for real. So yeah, why? Prove, right? Trade a setup 20 times, make money, be like, oh, look at that, I can make money on this setup. Then pump some money into your account and make money. That's my 2 cents. So, and like, again, that's why I'm in here. I've got a manageable balance. It's a decent amount. It's something I can get excited about, but it's not something that's going to ruin my life, because, I have, I have this. Where's the 80%? I have this one I'm working on right now, but I haven't even fully tested it. Dang it. Where'd it go? I had it up earlier. Anyways, it's this really cool, like 80% rule that I'm pumped about. I lost it. It's probably in here, but well, we're going to have it on the stream. It's coming up on the stream in a week or two. I'm going to be talking about this 80% rule. I still have a few rules about it that I want to sort out. Because if you don't have an exact set of criteria about what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, you can't sort of not back test it, but you can't like test it. Because if every time you're just making something kind of random, how do you test how effective it is? You can't. You can't reliably, anyways. So I'm going to take a look at that and then share it on the stream as soon as I think it's profitable and interesting and helpful. So yeah, alt scan, right? Nothing. Even Ethereum, right? Rejected here, didn't even make the neckline. That would have been a huge W, would have been real bullish. Here, failed, nothing. That's FET. Well, Ethereum too, right? Again, look at that. Uncanny. Can't make the W. Failed. And of course, once it's rejected, it doesn't end well for that. Rally, gas, negative price discovery. See, this is an old list. This is a 2-week-old list. This is the one I was watching closest. Now, you don't need an alt season to make money. I was actually hoping for just a counter trend rally, right? We got a downtrend, rally up to the 0.5. That's the Gann level. He hypothesized that an asset should trade back to its 50% level of the previous rally in roughly 50% of the time. And so I was measuring this to see what that might look like. And it was something like late August, mid-August that we might have seen it. But look, rejected. This day, it actually looked real good. It was like, oh man, if this closes above, we've got ourselves confirmation and we can get long. But it got rejected hard. And then, of course, down we go. Now it's trying to bottom here. I don't think it will. I think it's going to keep going for a bit. And that's okay, unless you're holding that bag. That's why, that's why a lot of people become traders, right? Through the bear market. They get sick of holding bags and they say, you know what, screw it. I am going to get out when it's looking crap and I'm going to get back in once it starts looking good again. It's a great plan. But it's not easy. It's really not as easy as it looks. And it gets easier when you join a community. And that's not a shill on this. I mean, I've had other communities too, unpaid ones, like just with buddies that you meet and stuff, but like talking to people, sharing ideas, having somebody there to like walk you through a difficult situation, like wiping your account or whatever. And Bravado obviously offers that 10x because we have like a really robust community with mods and analysts. And anyways, y'all are here, so I don't have to sell you on it, but I love it. I was a member before I was an analyst. It's just the best thing. Yeah, like sure, I'd love to be like, double bottom, but that doesn't confirm until we break up here to this neckline. This is how I'm hunting for sort of entries, and we're just not. Sorry guys, we're not anywhere close. The nice thing is, and I gotta say, the things I've been learning in the last year is I don't worry as much. They're used to, like, when you're staring at this and you're like, oh man, and like last week there was a lot, or 2 weeks ago there was a lot of alts that just went like 40%, right? And if you're not looking at a chart, you're looking at that going, man, it's alt season. But on the chart, that was like this, right? It was like a bearish retest, basically. And if you're on crypto Twitter, God save you, you were probably buying every bag. If you just blindly follow that stuff, don't do that. There's my advice. Not financial advice, just life advice. Don't follow random crypto Twitter influencers. Some of them are very good traders. Some of them are very smart. But as a rule, make your own choices, do your own analysis, learn stuff from them, but don't blindly follow. Signals don't work. And today, we're finding just more negative price discovery. So yeah, like once you're out of a bag and you're sitting in Bitcoin, your guns blazing, you're ready to go, then this is like way more chill. Because I don't care if it keeps going down for a little bit. I'd love it to go up now, but if it doesn't, I'm going to go and do other stuff. I'm going to read a book, going to go back and study some of this harmonics trading, prepare for war, but not worry about when that will come. Just keep analyzing, waiting. I think that's it I have as far as today. Let's see. Yeah, hidden fees, margin trading risks. Yeah, no rush. Hold your Bitcoin. Enjoy the ride. And if you do have a heavy bag and it's just killing you, I have no financial advice for you there. I have cut bags and they reversed and it pissed me off. I have cut bags and they, it was a great idea. Like, let's take an example. Like any example, right? I mean, you had stellar lumens. Oh man, I'm so stressed out. I'm going to cut my bag here. Oh no, I cut at the wrong time. Oh wait, what a great idea, right? Like, nobody knows. Oh, here's what I wanted to touch on today. Are we heading into a new paradigm shift? Dump that shit. Financial advice. Yeah. I mean, if you're Joker, I mean, if you have a trading plan, Bitcoin is your ammo, right? Unless you trade against USD and then you're sitting in USD and that's your ammo. But like Bitcoin is ammo. And alts right now, like it or not, are bleeding ammo. They're your capital is what you trade with. It is what you live on as a trader. And am I saying go dump your altcoins? Like, I mean, no, this is, that little counter trend rally was a decent exit, as it turns out. I don't know. I have a couple old bags. I'm not touching them now because I don't care. I have my trade port and I'm just trading off that. But why hold something that's trending down is not telling you what to do, but it's a question, a philosophical question, right? And I guess the risk is, okay, you get out, oh, it reverses. Is it going to go to infinity the next day? No, it's going to, maybe it's going to confirm and then it's going to come down. It's going to make that W, break out, retest. You can get back in, maybe at a higher price, but at least you're headed in the right direction. Peace of mind. So it's a hard choice. I know somebody in our Discord, like 2 months ago, cut all their altcoin bags. He's like, man, like I joined this Discord to learn how to trade. I'm so sick of watching the market basically throw me around, and I want to be in charge of my capital. And we don't give advice, but we said, you know what, there's nothing like a nice reset of your port. And, it was probably not January. It was probably like what, March, might have been April, but it was through this. And it was like, we're breaking the new lows here. And he cut his bag, cut every one of his bags. I think it took him like a week. He was like trading out of them, setting limit orders, whatever. And like, how do you think he feels right now? Probably like a G, because he just saved some money. Now he can think straight, because you can't think straight when you're in a bad trade. He's seeing the market more clearly, I imagine. And now he's ready to fire off on a new opportunity. So if one bag just like would, just say dies, oh my God, Dogecoin. So excited about that Binance listing. Uh-oh, that didn't age well. But yeah, point is, you free yourself up to make better decisions when you are sort of, I don't know, reset. I hate, don't get it twisted, I hate my bags right now. The couple that I have, I'm like, that sucks. But I'll tell you why I'm calm about it, is because first of all, I plan to hold them to zero. So that was part of my plan. And I'm, as much as it sucks to actually watch it maybe happen, it's just going to plan. But, I think having a plan of what you're watching for specifically makes all of this noise a lot more palatable. I'm not worrying each day. I'm not getting up every morning going, oh man, is it done? I'm just waiting. And I'm not just waiting. I'm like, doing other useful stuff, learning, trying to build up my stream ideas for this next thing that I'm going to launch, reading more, taking journal notes, playing with margin a little bit, right? Just exploring the market. And when that day comes, when September 12th comes and the US traders probably are fine, and then they all start trading again or whatever, and we figure out exactly which coins are delisted and dead and which ones are going to be okay, and all that confidence returns to the market, and you see this across the whole market, right? These W's that start to come in, and then you see some big buy volume, like one of these come in, then you can enter with confidence and it'll feel great. So that's it. That's all I've got. I'm feeling super mellow right now. I've just had a whiskey, a midday just for the stream, just to kind of enjoy one with everyone. Nothing fancy. I think just Jameson or something. Irish stuff. But yeah. Any questions? Any thoughts? Casper says, who are you talking about? No one in particular, unless that was you. I was actually going to say, I forget who it was that did that. We cut all their bags after sort of asking around in the Discord for some non-financial advice. But maybe it was you, Casper, and I don't know. But it was somebody, and I'm sure they're feeling a little better today. So the question, I guess, for somebody in this audience might be, do I cut my bags now? No one can answer that for you. You have to live with that decision. So it's really awkward if someone else makes it for you. You cut your bag now, you have some ADX, whatever, and, and then it goes here. And for a week, you're like sweating and you're pissed, right? I don't want to tell you to do that. I don't know. But if in a few months it's down here, well, that's below zero, but you know what I mean, right? I don't know. On some level, I feel like it's a little late to be cutting bags. At this point, it's like ride or die, but who knows, man? So here's my last thought. Cut 43 of them. Yeah, it was you, Casper. Then, yeah, he cut a lot of his bags, built up his Bitcoin stack, right? And now you have sort of that base play from strength. Here's what I wanted to talk about. I keep going roundabouts, but here it is. There is a narrative emerging, and it's one that I actually was thinking about 2 months ago, was like this idea that like, well, alt season must come. It always comes until it doesn't, right? Until there is a paradigm shift. And we go, maybe in 2 years, it's like, remember when we used to have alt seasons? And now it's just like an actual market where some things go up and some things go down, right? Maybe it's not like this Bitcoin dominance versus altcoin dominance just forever yo-yoing. Maybe that was like an immaturity thing. And now that the market's more mature, smart money's coming in, quote unquote, smart money, big money, institutional money, and they're just interested in Bitcoin. And as Bitcoin shoots up, if Bitcoin goes to whatever, like 50K, where's 50K? God, if Bitcoin goes to 50K, how many altcoins are going to keep up with that? What, they're going to be worth $500 for a little shit coin that powers a network where there's like not even enough demand? I don't know, man. Like possibly, but we could be entering a new paradigm where Bitcoin just rules the day. Maybe some altcoins keep up versus USD while tanking versus Bitcoin, right? But here's the interesting thing about that, because that's a super bearish scenario for our bags, right? But here's the thing. Capitulation happens when everyone's convinced that altcoins are dead, right? Everyone. And as you can see on Twitter, everyone's still calling for alt season. So, Brian Beamish, my mentor, like smart guy, he's been in the market like 30 years, different markets. And he says, we're not there yet. We're not at capitulation yet because there's still so much goddamn hopium, which is why we all joke around on crypto Twitter. People are like, man, stop talking about alt season, right? Pretend it's dead. So is this paradigm, is that narrative going to be the capitulation, right? When everyone's convinced that Bitcoin is just going to go to the moon and smart money's going to take it there and they're not going to bring any altcoins with it and everyone dumps their altcoins and there's this huge wick, is that your bottom? And then actually altcoins are going to come with us, but we needed that narrative to really wash out the market, put in a bottom. It's possible. It's one of the things I'm thinking about. As soon as you're an idiot for thinking that altcoins are ever going to run again, right? When that becomes the stupid narrative and like, all the crypto Twitter influencers and the snobs are all like, man, you're such a noob. You still hold altcoins. We all know that Bitcoin's going to the moon. When that is your sort of, what do you call it? Sentiment in the market, watch for those W's on the chart, because that's when, that's when we'll have an alt season. Sorry, not before. Probably not before. There's some argument that altcoins are the best way to make more Bitcoin, but I think we're also learning that that is not the case. Not necessarily the case. You can make the Bitcoin up on margin. So, all right, let me catch up on the chat here because I'm ignoring it because I'm just here alone and I can't do both. I have ADHD, okay, one at a time. Looking at Bitcoin dominance chart, it doesn't look like alt season is coming anytime soon. Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't look at that chart a lot, but let's take a peek. I do have it right here. The old crypto cap total 2. Yeah, wow. I hadn't looked at that in a little while. Again, because I'm not really looking at alts right now, but it's just in death mode. It's funny that it follows the fibs, eh? Like, I love fibs. They're more about like universal like physics and frequencies. So you don't even have to say somebody charted this on purpose, but there it is. Bink, 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 right? Bink, like all these little tags. And that's my favorite tag sound. Bink. So there you go. But yeah, I mean, could it just W out right here? Nice cheeky little W and then go? Sure. But it's exciting times, right? I mean, if there really is adoption in Bitcoin, everything changes. Altcoins may not keep up. At least a handful. I mean, we've been talking about it for years, right? Like 99% are going to die, and they will die slow. They will die slow. They'll go to 4 sats, and they'll sit there for a bit, and eventually no one will buy them. Certain ones, not your bags, hopefully. But there's a lot of trash, right? We know that already. You keep part of your portfolio in USD. I actually have no USD right now. Full disclosure, I am sitting in Bitcoin. A little bit of alts, a lot of BXC. Full disclosure, like percentage wise, a lot of BXC. I'm pretty heavy in there just because I bought it at ICO, OTC, private presale, and I'm just not ready to sell it until they have liquidity and have rolled out all their plans. On that note, we should talk about BXC. It's the last tab on my chart. We really opened up the range here in an uglier way than I anticipated, but at the same time, I was prepared for this. I said as much on the stream 2 weeks ago. Prepare for a very underwhelming start. Prepare for uncomfortably low volume. These are all things that were said before the launch. So, let's take a look at this range before we go today. How's my time? Oh, shoot, we're coming up in an hour. So hope you guys are enjoying the stream today. If you are, give me a shout out, maybe like, maybe subscribe the video. Likes always feel good after you do a little bit of work for the people. And if you didn't like it, let me know why. I tried my best, but I'm also open to ideas. I'm not a pro streamer. Okay. So last thing here. Okay. Like a quick range here. I had one drawn, but I'm not signed in right now because it always signs you out. Working on that. So, bink. And here we go. God, without the dark theme, all my color schemes just look like trash. Anyways, so here's our range right now. It's a little bit ugly. I mean, that's a huge range. It's not typical, right? See how big that really is. It's a big old range. Wow. We have seen a 56% drawdown. Let's see. Life's been so much better ever since I cut off my alts. Yeah, seriously. Tic Tac crypto. Yeah, I feel you. It's true, right? Once you stop holding is a very powerless feeling because the market, you just become the market's bitch, right? I mean, it's like, oh, we're going down today. Okay, we're going down. Or like, oh, yay, the market gave me some gains. Yay. And asking for the market to give you money is kind of like, in a bull market, it's like, you're a genius, right? Everyone who sold the dips in the last bull market in 2017, you were dumb. And it taught you a very bad lesson, which is to hold no matter what. And, 2018 was like a real smack in the face for a lot of people who learned the wrong lesson at the right time. Or, well, like there is a time to hold, like in a bull trend, right? Bitcoin, right? That's what it is, right? Learn enough TA to just identify trends, right? We had a trend going down for a long time, like a year, so over a year, wasn't it? That was a trend, not a good time to hold. Then the trend reversed. In fact, that was announced very clearly on this breakout here, right? W, like we talked about, again, right? And we broke the neckline. Pink. So that doesn't mean we're going to go here, but it certainly means like bear trend over for now. And sure enough, never came back. You know what's really going to blow your mind? We talked about GAN and the 50% rule. Look at this thing. 50% of the move in 50% of the time. It's disgusting, bro. Just noticed this the other day. So here was your down. Was that 366 bars? Yep. You already know what's coming. And he hit the 50% line in about half the time. This is a guy who's been dead like 50 years. Blows my mind. I'm definitely doing a full GAN stream in the next month or two just to talk about his ideas, vibrational signatures, draw a GAN fan, and it's based on this pivot from here to here. And then that sets the vibrational signature for the asset. And then it just ripples after that. And that's those big crazy things with all the lines and the arcs and stuff. He just projects all that based on one pivot. It's so sick. Love this guy. BXC, yeah. So I'm pumped about BXC. Still very much pumped about it. Didn't mean to get off track there. So again, here's what I'm excited about. I know we got in just because who knows, early price action, right? Maybe it was undervalued and this was going to be the floor. So I just know in the future, I feel like this is all going to look cheap. So it was like, okay, so we added 2% here. We added another 1% here. I would expect, we've got some liquidity coming in this week. I would like to see this kind of thing. right? As far as like, if we're not going to go up, let's at least start putting in some W's. You know, we know it's not going to go below here because that's 0. So here's our space to work with. Are we going to have a capitulation when it doesn't blow up in volume right when people want, right? And then we're going to, but yeah, I want to see this. And then once you see that break, but again, altcoins are what drive attention to exchanges for the most part, especially ones like this that don't offer margin and stuff. So we really need to get through that altcoin uncertainty for BXC to explode. They do offer more than any other exchange, so that's good. But until alts become cool again, they may not become cool. And I'm prepared to wait. I really like the team. I really like the platform. I plan to trade alts again someday, and this is where I plan to do it. And I think it'll be attractive the more people get it. Yeah, one huge vertical line just see ya. Oh shit. Oh damn it, it's stuck. Cancel everything. Okay, so I think I better wrap up today. I'm just having fun now. Kind of lost my momentum. Not really, but I feel like I'm all done. I will tell you this. No, I lost it. Shit. Well, I was just going to say US users will need to trade somewhere. There's a lot of them. There's a lot that don't even trade yet, that don't even know they want to trade, and they're going to be coming somewhere. Sure, Binance US is probably going to be pretty dope. It's going to be legit. But there's a lot. You know, Huobi is even talking about banning Binance users now, or excuse me, US users. Bittrex has banned and is like even locking up their US users. And BXC really is this sort of ray of light. And I think they're in a really good position to capitalize on that. But remember, it is a snowball, right? If you trade $1 million of volume, you can't go and be the $1 million of trade volume. You need there to be existing volume in there for you to get in with, right? It is it's an interesting process to see it roll out. It's not as simple as like, let's all just show up together, right? And as expected, right? In that stream just before launch, I was saying, you know, most of the people that are in the BXC Discord, most of the people that are excited about it are not trading. They're holding BXY and they're waiting. And they're all like, well, when volume? It's like, well, when are you going to create the volume, bro? It doesn't just come out of nowhere. Somebody's got to be there looking to sell and someone's got to be there looking to buy. But they are going down for maintenance like right now as we speak, and to fix a couple last things that hopefully the market makers needed. And they'll be firing up the liquidity. And then you can actually go there to sell and buy stuff. So I'm excited for the next 2 months, and I expect this date will have quite an impact on the entire alt market. And we're watching it September. So enjoy your summer. Stay tuned. More trading to come. And thank you for joining today on the show and for all this interaction. This is actually the most interaction I've seen in the chat. So thanks, guys, for coming out. And yeah, smack a like down if you liked it, and don't if you didn't. Have a great day, everybody. And I'll see you back in the Discord chat server later today. Cheers. Awkward moment while I figure out how to turn off the stream. Where are you, Zoom? Oh, there we go. Take care, y'all.